What do you get when you combine elegant silver with rustic driftwood? A fun and whimsical sign for fall. Hi creative friends, I'm Jane from Sustain My Craft Habit, and welcome back to Thrifted Thursday, where we share a couple of projects that we've upcycled this week. I was a part of an event over on Facebook where the theme was Scarecrows. So this is what the inspiration was for this craft. And I started with just a few pieces, two kind of larger flat pieces of driftwood and then two smaller pieces to go across. Now, my painting skills are not that advanced, so I think this is a scarecrow that anybody could paint. I just started with triangular orange noses, and then using my black paint added on some ovals for the eyes, as well as a little wavy zigzaggy line for the mouths. I'm using really a combination of chalky paint as well as some acrylic paint, but you can use whatever you have at home. For my girl scarecrow, again, I just painted on the eyes in the same way as I did my boy scarecrow, but just added on a couple little lashes as well. It always fascinates me how painting just a few simple shapes can give a piece a whole new personality. I used the same piece of driftwood to paint on the hat for my scarecrows. That's why I picked a piece of driftwood that was elongated, kind of a triangular shape, so that the hat could be up above the face part. And then the second piece of driftwood, I painted the same color as the hat to create the brim of the hat. For my girl scarecrow, I decided to try a bit of a crackle technique, so I painted on a coat of just white school glue, let that dry a little bit, and then added on my paint to color, which I decided to do this nice harvest yellow color for her hat. And I did the same color again on the brim part as well as the little hat part. As those were drying, you could see a little bit of a crackle forming, but it wasn't all that. It was very subtle. I painted on some little white catch lights to the eyes and the nose of both my scarecrows, and then added on some diamond dust onto the girl scarecrow's hat with some Mod Podge. Yeah, I think I really need to give her a name at this point. Do you have any ideas? Leave your suggestions in the comments below for what names we should give our he and she scarecrows. I just added on a few little embellishments with some paint, including this little fabric patch onto his hat, and then some details onto the brim of the hat as well. And then I glued those together. Now this silver platter came from our Value Village. I think it was about $3.99, and it has a really pretty inlay or engraving in the tray. So I painted on a little bit of yellow and orange chalky paint and then wiped away the excess with the idea that it would accentuate the little grooves in the silver platter. So this step was completely optional and very subtle. Sometimes I paint the entire platter as part of the craft. In this case, though, I really liked the idea of this elegant silver against the rustic driftwood. So I left it as it was and then glued my his and hers scarecrow right onto there. I used a combination of my hot glue as well as some Gorilla Glue to really help it adhere. To dress up our girl, I simply pleated a little piece of yellow ribbon and then glued that around the neck area to create a frill. And then for my boy scarecrow, I just added on a bit of a bow to create a bow tie. Now I wanted the top of my sign to have a really beautiful big set of bows. So I did a single bow with the pumpkin ribbon and then a double bow here with the more plaid ribbon. And I use a technique of simply pinching and twisting the tails of the ribbon to create the double bow and then tying it together in the center either with a bit of wire or I think in this case I used some twine. And then I glued that onto my sign again with the Gorilla Glue and hot glue. I added on a few little embellishments such as this pine cone flower. And the last step of the craft was to add on this vinyl phrase that I had cut out. It says, "Autumn is my favorite color." This is a custom design that Sonia and I made, and we have it available over at sustainmycrafthabit.com. And I had just cut this out on my Cricut Maker 3 onto permanent black vinyl. You could use removable vinyl. And then once I weeded out the design, I transferred that onto the tray with a little bit of transfer tape. Now my piece was nearly done. It's optional, but I did glue on a loop of twine onto the back with my Gorilla Glue so that I could hang this sign up wherever I wanted. But it also would be really cute just leaning up against the wall, sitting on the shelf for some rustic chic fall decor. So what do you think? Would you create this driftwood couple? Thanks so much for watching. Bye.